Hello everyone. In this video I'm going to be doing a guide to Helwyr. In particular I'm going to be showing you how you can use defensive abilities in order to consistently kill this boss without using any food. This will allow you to camp the boss for drops while using minimal supplies, and it will also get you used to using defensive abilities, which are essential at many higher level bosses. To begin with, to get there you can obviously use the water retreat portal once you've got at least one kill. But for your first kill, you need to go to the Heart of Gillinor. The easiest way to get there is to head to Nada, either using the Desert Amulet or getting a magic carpet down from Algorid. Then from Nada, just run southwest and into the dungeon here. Once you're in the heart itself, Helwyr is in the far corner of Seren's encampment, which is in the southeast corner. You'll need 40 kill counts to get through this barrier, and once you're in, you can click on the barrier just over here to start an instance. Now, getting into the boss fight here. The first mechanic, as soon as Helwyr spawns, he'll say, "Nature, lend me your aid," and 3 of the mushrooms which are scattered around the arena will spread clouds of gas around them. You want to make sure you stay well out of the way of these, because if you are in them, you'll take rapid tick damage, and if you stay in them for long enough, you will also be bound there. So just move out of the way of those if they do spawn on top of you. The second mechanic is a single really big hit, which we're going to be using the ability Resonance on to get a really big heal, and the health we get from this is what will sustain us and mean that we don't need to use any food while killing this boss. So when he says, "You will bleed," and rears back on his hind legs like this, you want to switch to a shield and use Resonance. It can take a bit of practice to get the correct timing here, so while you're still learning you might want to keep your melee prayer on during this, so you take less damage if you screw it up. But once you're comfortable at this, you ideally want to switch your melee prey off, as I'm doing here, so that you get a bigger heal from this attack. After you get hit with this attack, you'll have a small bleed applied to you, which you see here is doing 50 damage every tick. We don't want to clear this yet. I'll explain why in a bit. The third mechanic, which you'll see him doing here, he will say, "You cannot escape me," and he'll start doing very rapid melee attacks. To deal with this, we want to make sure we're praying melee, and use Devotion if it's up to completely block damage, or if it isn't up, then use Debilitate to halve damage from this. Once that attack is finished, the bleed that's on you will increase to 250, and at this point we want to clear it using Freedom. It's important that we didn't clear it on the last attack, so that we have freedom to clear it now. And for his final special, he will summon a pair of wolves. These have 3k health each, and they don't hit you particularly hard, but you probably do want to clear them, because if you leave them alive, then they can snipe your resonance hit, which may cause you problems. So use Chain or Dragon Breath or even Detonate to clear them when they appear. And once you've dealt with them, that is pretty much the entire fight. We're now just going to continue cycling the same rotation throughout. So we'll get the mushrooms again, and then after a few more attacks, we'll get his big hit, which if we lost a little bit of health over the fight so far, we can now use Resonance to bring our health back up to full. We'll then have his rapid flurry attack. This time we don't have Devotion off cooldown because we used it last time, so we're going to use Debilitate instead. If you want to, you can also switch to a shield and use Reflect to further reduce the damage, but you don't really need to do that. And that is pretty much it. You see, after we've completed this kill, we actually have more health than we started with. So once you get comfortable using these defensive abilities, this really is a no food rotation. If you want to, you can bring in Soul Split Flicking to get even more healing, but it's really not necessary. Here we just make sure we get a big heal from Resonance each time it comes round, and use defensive abilities when needed in the rest of the fight, then that will give you all the healing you need. And you can see I'm doing this kill in pretty simple gear. I've just got basic Robes of Subjugation on, and the Sewer Wand and Orb, which Helwyr drops. And so we're not getting a particularly fast kill time here, but that does increase once you've got better gear. And with a little bit of practice, it's very easily possible to make 10 mil an hour or even more while camping this boss. And as I said at the beginning, it's a really good place to start learning how to use these defensives like Devotion, Debilitate, Resonance, Freedom, which come in useful at a lot of higher end bosses such as Araxor, Telos and the Ambassador. And the only other thing I'll mention is a little note on keybinds. Anytime we use Resonance during this fight, we want to do a succession of 3 abilities. We want to switch to our shield, we want to use Resonance, and then we want to switch back to, in this case, our offhand weapon, or if we were doing this with a two-handed weapon, then we want to switch back to that. And when you're learning, It can be pretty helpful to put these 3 abilities on 3 keybinds which are next to each other. At the moment I've got them on my mouse, but when I was first practicing this boss, I had them on A, S and D, so I could very easily press A and S to switch to my shield and resonance, and then once the heal had come in, I just finished the combo by pressing D to switch back. It's obviously up to you exactly how you want to organise your keybinds, but having these 3 pretty close together might make things a bit easier when learning. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this guide. I will see you next time.